Which of the following when used in ordinary low-carbon steels makes the metal ductile and of good bending qualities? A. Sulfur. B. Phosphorus. C. Manganese. D. Silicon. The correct answer is manganese. The hardness of steel depends upon the A. amount of cementite it contains, B. amount of carbon it contains, C. contents of alloying elements, D. method of manufacture of steel. The correct answer is amount of carbon it contains. Cartridge brass can be A. cold rolled into sheets, B. drawn into wires, C. formed into tube, D. any one of these. The correct answer is any one of these. Which of the following statement is correct? The product produced by blast furnace is called cast iron. B. The pig iron is the name given to the product produced by cupola. C. The cast iron has high tensile strength. D. The chilled cast iron has no graphite. The correct answer is the chilled cast iron has no graphite. Blast furnace is used to produce A. pig iron, B. cast iron, C. wrought iron, D. steel. The correct answer is pig iron. In flame hardening, oxy-acetylene flame is used. A. yes, B. no, C. D. The correct answer is yes. Which of the following statements are true for annealing of steels? A. Steels are heated to 500 to 700 C. B. Cooling is done slowly and steadily. C. Internal stresses are relieved. D. All of these. The correct answer is all of these. The ability of a material to undergo large permanent deformation with the application of a tensile force is called ductility. A. correct. B. incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct. Which of the following steel making process is being adopted at Rourkela Steel Plant? A. Bessemer process, B. open hearth process, C. electric process, D. LD process. The correct answer is LD process. 1841 high-speed steel contains A. vanadium 4 chromium 18 and tungsten 1, B. vanadium 1 chromium 4 and tungsten 18, C. vanadium 18 chromium 1 and tungsten 4, D. none of the above. The correct answer is vanadium 1 chromium 4 and tungsten 18. Which of the following statement is true about brittle fracture? A. high temperature and low strain rates favor brittle fracture. B. many metals with hexagonal close-packed H.C.P crystal structure commonly show brittle fracture. C. brittle fracture is always preceded by noise. D. cup and cone formation is characteristic for brittle materials. The correct answer is many metals with hexagonal close-packed H.C.P crystal structure commonly show brittle fracture. Gray cast iron has A. carbon in the form of free graphite, B. high tensile strength, C. low compressive strength, D. all of these. The correct answer is carbon in the form of free graphite. Induction hardening is basically A. carburizing process, B. surface hardening process, C. core hardening process, D. none of these. The correct answer is surface hardening process. When elements like nickel, chromium, copper, and molybdenum are added to the molten cast iron, it produces A. white cast iron, B. nodular cast iron, C. malleable cast iron, D. alloy cast iron. The correct answer is alloy cast iron. The strength is the ability of a material to resist A. deformation under stress, B. externally applied forces with breakdown or yielding, C. fracture due to high impact loads, D. none of these. The correct answer is Externally applied forces with breakdown or yielding. The material widely used for making pendulums of clocks is A. Stainless steel, B. High-speed steel, C. Heat-resisting steel, D. Nickel steel. The correct answer is nickel steel. The stiffness is the ability of a material to resist A. Deformation under stress, B. Fracture due to high impact loads, C. Externally applied forces with breakdown or yielding, D. None of the above. The correct answer is deformation under stress. The blade of a power saw is made of A. Boron steel, B. High-speed steel, C. Stainless steel, D. Malleable cast iron. The correct answer is high-speed steel. In induction, hardening is high A. Current, B. Voltage, C. Frequency, D. Temperature. The correct answer is frequency. The metal suitable for bearings subjected to light loads is A. Silicon bronze, B. White metal, C. Monel metal, D. Phosphor bronze. The correct answer is phosphor bronze. The property of a material essential for spring materials is A. Stiffness, B. Ductility, C. Resilience, D. Plasticity. The correct answer is resilience. A steel with carbon above 0.8 is known as hyper-eutectoid steel. A. Agree, B. Disagree, C. D. The correct answer is agree. Which of the following material has nearly zero coefficient of expansion? A. Stainless steel, B. High-speed steel, C. Invar, D. Heat-resisting steel. The correct answer is Invar. In normalising process, the hypo-eulectiod steel is heated from 30 C to 50 C above the upper critical temperature and then cooled in still air. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is true. The alloying element which can replace tungsten in high-speed steels is A. Nickel, B. Vanadium, C. Cobalt, D. Molybdenum. The correct answer is molybdenum. An aluminium alloy with 11 silicon is used for making engine pistons by die casting technique. A. Yes, B. No, C. D. The correct answer is yes. Which of the following is an amorphous material? A. Mica, B. Silver, C. Lead, D. Glass. The correct answer is glass. The machinability of steel is improved by adding A. Nickel, B. Chromium, C. Nickel and chromium, D. Sulfur, lead and phosphorus. The correct answer is sulfur, lead and phosphorus. The carbon in the pig iron varies from A. 0.1 to 0.5, B. 0.5 to 1, C. 1 to 5, D. 5 to 10. The correct answer is 1 to 5. The type of space lattice found in alpha iron is A. Face-centered cubic space lattice, B. Body-centered cubic space lattice, C. Close-packed hexagonal space lattice, D. None of these. The correct answer is body-centered cubic space lattice. The brown smoke during the operation of a Bessemer converter indicates that the A. air is burning out silicon and manganese, B. silicon and manganese has burned and carbon has started oxidizing, C. the converter must be titled to remove the contents of the converter, D. the brown smoke does not occur during the operation of a Bessemer converter. The correct answer is air is burning out silicon and manganese. Martensite has needle-like structure and is magnetic. A. Correct, B. Incorrect, C. D. The correct answer is correct. Monel metal is an alloy of A. Nickel and copper. B. Nickel and chromium. C. Nickel, chromium and iron. D. Copper and chromium. The correct answer is nickel and copper. In induction hardening, the depth of hardening is controlled by controlling the voltage. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct. The austenite is a solid solution of carbon or iron carbide in gamma iron. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct. Which of the following display properties similar to that of steel? A. Black hard cast iron. B. White hard cast iron. C. Both A and B. D. None of these. The correct answer is both A and B. Hyndallium is an alloy of aluminium and magnesium with a small quantity of chromium. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. D. The correct answer is agree. When a low carbon steel is heated up to upper critical temperature, A. There is no change in grain size. B. The average grain size is a minimum. C. The grain size increases very rapidly. D. The grain size first increases and then decreases very rapidly. The correct answer is the average grain size is a minimum. The steel widely used for motor car crankshafts is A. Nickel steel. B. Chrome steel. C. Nickel chrome steel. D. Silicon steel. The correct answer is chrome steel. Combined carbon in iron makes the metal A. Soft and gives coarse grain crystalline structure. B. Soft and gives a fine grain crystalline structure. C. Hard and gives a coarse grain crystalline structure. D. Hard and gives a fine grain crystalline structure. The correct answer is hard and gives a fine grain crystalline structure. Perlite consists of A. 13 carbon and 87 ferrite. B. 13 cementite and 87 ferrite. C. 13 ferrite and 87 cementite. D. 6.67 carbon and 93.33 iron. The correct answer is 13 cementite and 87 ferrite. Incolloy, Hastelloy and Vitallium are temperature alloys. A. High. B. Low. C. D. The correct answer is high. Quenching is not necessary when hardening is done by A. Case hardening. B. Flame hardening. C. Nitriding. D. Any one of these. The correct answer is nitriding. The iron ore in the charge of blast furnace acts as an iron-bearing mineral. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. Beryllium bronze has A. High yield point. B. High fatigue limit. C. Both A and B. D. None of these. The correct answer is both A and B. The aluminium alloy mainly used for anodized utensil manufacture is A. Duralumin. B. Y alloy. C. Magnalium. D. Hyndallium. The correct answer is Hyndallium. The toughness of a material when it is heated. A. Remains same. B. Decreases. C. Increases. D. The correct answer is decreases. The coordination number of a face-centered cubic space lattice is A. 6. B. 12. C. 18. D. 20. The correct answer is 12. Spheroidal grey cast iron has graphite flakes. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. Bronze is an alloy of A. Copper and zinc. B. Copper and tin. C. Copper, tin and zinc. D. None of these. The correct answer is copper and tin.